update settings, post a tweet, and it looks like we are live. Rob Spear on YouTube is so excited, and Sam can't wait, apparently.
Nice.
But we are live on YouTube. The good Rob, whenever you wanted to get things going, it's on you, my friend.
All right. I'm pretty sure this will do the trick here. So... intro music.
Wait, that's not it.
What?
He's no good to me, Dad.
Intro music. Intro music.
Bounty hunting is a complicated profession.
It's a complicated profession, but not as complicated as it used to be. Me and Rob are getting pretty good at this, and we're back yet again for another episode of Banter, Beskar, and BanthaMilk. We are normally a Mandalorian podcast, but we're talking all Star Wars. Rob, how are you today?
I am wonderful, and how are you? Did you like our theme music? It was written by a very famous person, Tom Ameen.
That's right.
No,
yeah.
it wasn't.
No, we're not going to strap that on you, my friend. I wrote that in about 20 seconds on like some random online thing. But we do have, you'll notice if you are watching us on YouTube, which by the way, we are streaming live right now on YouTube. Underneath us down here, I don't know how it is on their screens, but on the live stream down below me right here, you will see a guest of ours, the wonderful, the talented pianist, composer, arranger, studio musician, Tom Ameen. How are you, my friend?
Good. Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
No, we are so very glad to have you. We've got a special affection for musicians here on BanthaMilk Podcast. So we've got another special affection for nerds on BanthaMilk Podcast. So
the best.
Listen, if you've got one of two of those, you're up A-OK in our book, and you've got all of it going on.
I'm both of those, so yeah.
So it's a great day, right? So it is good to have you here. We do want to talk a little bit about the BanthaMilk, right? I do have my customary glass of BanthaMilk here. I need to change it up a little bit. I've been on bourbon for like the past couple of episodes, but our fans haven't been sending us a whole lot of drink recipes. I don't know, Rob. What do you got today?
I mixed it up a little bit. Tom, we are in South Jersey, very close to Philadelphia.
Okay.
So this is Yard's Brewery, which is a Philadelphia brewery. It's a Yard's Philadelphia Pale Ale, and let's see if this works.
That was okay. Not as good as the usual can cracking you get, but that's okay.
The can cracking is much better, but the bottle, did its trick.
Yeah, and we harangued Tom into grabbing something. Tom, did you manage to find, what do you got there?
Well, it looks like water, but it's actually Italian Sambuca.
Italian Sambuca.
Nice.
Basically,
nice.
It's like alcoholic licorice is what it tastes like.
All right.
Well, there you go.
It's really good. I can only have little tiny sips at a time. It's all, but it's really good.
Listen, man, any BanthaMilk is BanthaMilk in our eyes. Cheers. Cheers to the three of us. And
yes.
to Star Wars.
Very good.
And here we are. But we do want to make sure people can figure out where they can find us, right? It is very important that you know that we're not just on YouTube. We are a podcast for being able to find all over the place. Rob, I'm going to talk about where we can find us right now.
Why don't you tell us where we can?
Hey, if you're interested in more Star Wars info, want to chat, or even want to send us some Star Wars drink recipes, please be sure to check us out on all of our social media platforms. You can catch us on Instagram and Facebook at BanthaMilk Podcast, Twitter at BanthaMilk. You can email us at banthamilkpodcast@gmail.com, or even check out our website, banthamilkpodcast.com.
And don't forget to check out our sister podcast over at the Ears Up Network. Our friends over at Ears Up help us a whole lot, so give them and their many shows a listen. Their shows include Ears Up in Depth, The Supreme Resort, and Scraping the Vault. Also be sure to check out their Patreon at patreon.com/ears with a Z up. For as little as $2 a month, you can help support our show. Any donations sent their way directly help us here at BanthaMilk Podcast and comes with great perks. So please check them out today.
Check them out now. Pause us and go check. No, that you can wait until we're done. And then you can go and check out, our buddies over at Ears Up Podcast. I know, Tom, you were a guest on at least one of their podcasts, correct?
I was. I believe it was a month ago or so, and I had a great time with them. Just such a great group of people.
They are a great group of people. We're better than them, so you're going to have an even better time on our show, I promise.
Okay, we won't tell them that, though.
Oh, no, we'll tell them that all the time. I'm sending them an email right now. Jason. All right.
And you don't have to worry. Tom, you don't have to worry. They don't listen to our show at all, so we can say whatever we want about them, and it doesn't even matter.
It's a complete mystery to them.
It is.
We do have the smallest bit of Star Wars. It's a pretty slow news network right now for Star Wars. There's a lot of rumors out there, and Rob and I were talking before the show started about all these rumors that are out there that we could make a big deal about, and we could like talk about all these rumors that are out there about the new shows coming up. But that's not the way we like to do things here at BanthaMilk Podcast.
No, we do not.
Just the facts. We cut the crap here.
That's right.
And so, we will talk about some of the stuff that we know is coming up, and some of the, but like too many news articles out there. Rob was saying earlier, it's like, we know all this stuff about Obi-Wan. What do they know, Rob?
They don't know anything. It's all just clickbait.
Yeah.
All they do is they just say Ewan McGregor's in Obi-Wan Kenobi. Oh my goodness.
Shocking.
But yeah, you got to click through 12 ads and 14 pages to find out that they know nothing.
That's right. But there is some Star Wars stuff happening. Now, some of it starts right here with BanthaMilk Podcast, right? Because first of all, we do need to put out a retraction. Right?
Yes.
And I want to apologize to the masses. Last episode, we dedicated a good hour and 15 minutes to something we were really excited about and really excited to share with you.
It was April 1st.
Yeah, we got this really great news on April 1st. We were excited to share it with you.
On April 1st, we got this awesome news that there was going to be, Tom, you would have been excited about this too. I can tell that you would be excited about this. We were told that there was a Spaceballs 2 movie in production.
Ooh.
Yes, and they were making Spaceballs land in Universal Studios. We heard all of this on April 1st.
Yeah, and we obviously, when we heard it, we need to tell everyone all about it in great detail, and we did tell people in great detail. So I am here to tell you that Lil Nas X has come out and told us that he does not have a brand of shoe coming out with yogurt in it.
With yogurt? No, there wasn't rollerblades with jam in it.
It's a bummer.
There's no ride where you go plaid in the ride. We were very disappointed. We found out that all of these things were false. So, Tom, we want to just correct all that before we get to you, because you are a true musician and
talent.
A true artist.
We don't want to have you come onto a show where you feel like you're being lied to. Right.
Right.
So we wanted to air that out right now. We do have real news happening though. The Final Four is out. Our Final Four has come out, hasn't it? Wait, I'm not allowed to say that, am I? Isn't that copyright?
Well, you will just say
we'll take that out in post, right?
4 people of our March Bracket Madness Star Wars character extravaganza.
I want to put that on a T-shirt. Can we put that on a T-shirt, please?
You need 2 T-shirts to put all that on there.
For the cure.
For the cure. Yes, for the cure. So, Tom, we've been doing this. We've had people voting on it online and all that stuff. So you can check it out on our Facebook page at BanthaMilk. There's a link to it. But, awesome. Tom, I'll let you in. There's the last 4 people that are left. It is Luke Skywalker versus Yoda. Who would you vote for? Yes, that's one.
Who gets your vote? What do you think in that?
Oh,
and now you got to know. It's not about who would win in a fight. It's not about who's more powerful. It's just a gut thing, you know?
It's just a gut thing. Who's your favorite of those 2? It's and the other 2 are going to be even tougher. So,
well, I have to say, because of Mandalorian, I have to go with Yoda.
Okay.
I'm a huge Baby Yoda fan. So,
okay. Well,
I've always loved Yoda. I've always loved Yoda since the 70s. So it's not anything new. But I know he's not Yoda, but I think I'm going to have to go with Yoda. He's more seasoned and more experienced.
That's good. That's a great call. All right.
But
what about the other 2 in the Final Four?
The other 2 in the Final Four, Baby Yoda, we had him ranked in the 30s.
Yeah, he was seated pretty low. Yeah,
he was seated pretty low.
He's a real upset victory so far. He's a sweetheart tale. I tell you,
he knocked out Princess Leia last week.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's little baby Grogu versus Darth Vader.
Wow.
Supreme good versus supreme evil. It's going to be tough.
That's a hard one to choose as well because. Wow, I don't have to choose right now, do I?
No, you can take. No, well, we're gonna try and remember to ask you again at the end of this episode.
I gotta think about it for a little bit.
Yeah, we're gonna let that stew. At the end of your BanthaMilk, we'll see how you feel.
Got it. Exactly right.
That's right.
So they're the Final Four.
You got to check it out. Where can they vote for that, Rob?
So you can go to our Facebook page at BanthaMilk at Facebook BanthaMilk. Nick, you know better.
It's at BanthaMilk Podcast, right? Facebook.com/BanthaMilk Podcast. You can also check it out on our Facebook group. We do have a Facebook group that you can join where you can get all your real Facebook or Star Wars news, not any of the crap. and share all your Star Wars silliness at facebook.com/groups/sacred Jedi texts. Right?
Yes.
You can check it out there, vote for it, and we will see who comes on top of our Star Wars bracket madness. Now, you must know about our next show. We have another show coming up pretty quickly because, as we all know, the National Star Wars holiday is coming up. What's that date?
That would be May 4th,
That's
because,
right.
of course, May the 4th be with you.
That's right.
So that's pretty exciting. You know, it's funny, Tom, you were on that other Ears Up podcast, and I can talk about Jason because, like I said, he's not going to listen to us. But he was on our show last year on May 4th. We had a big May 4th celebration. Okay. And then I listened to his show 2 weeks later, whatever, and he was talking about how dumb he thought May the 4th is for a holiday because it just happens to rhyme. And I was like, but you were on our show on May 4th. And then he's talking about how much he doesn't like it. So it made me laugh.
With the fakeness.
Yes.
But we do have a good one
supported us.
For yeah, I mean, we're all jokes aside, Ears Up, they're good guys, right? But we do have a great show coming up for the 4th because it's a big day for Star Wars fans because we finally, after this drought of content, have something new coming out. We've got The Bad Batch, right? New animated series coming out on Disney Plus May the 4th. Dave Filoni is producing it. We do know that we're going to be seeing that Bad Batch group that we saw from Clone Wars. We also know we'll be seeing Fennec Shand reprise her role. Saw Gerrera is going to be back. Grand Moff Tarkin, right? There's a lot of familiar faces we're going to see, and we know this takes place. When does this take place? Is this after Order 66? Have we heard?
I haven't really heard when it takes place, so it'll be interesting.
I am very interested to see if they delve into what happens with these dudes after Order 66.
Yeah, so it'll be very exciting.
All I know is Rob and I want to watch this show and talk to you about it. That's for sure.
That's right. So we're going to bring that to you on May 4th, talk to you about it. And also, speaking of May 4th, I'm sure this is happening around the world, other restaurants and stuff, but there was an article about a restaurant in Atlanta. So to all of our fans in Atlanta, check out the Local 3 Kitchen and Bar on May 4th. They have a special Star Wars Day menu. So they have special foods, offerings, and stuff like that. So if you feel like flying down to Atlanta, or if you're in the Atlanta area, check out the Local 3 Kitchen and Bar on May 4th. They'll have a special Star Wars menu. So I thought that was pretty neat.
I have a special Star Wars menu in my house every day.
There you go.
And it's BanthaMilk. Right?
What about you, Tom? Tom, do you have a special Star Wars menu ever? You can say no, I don't.
I don't. I have Star Wars music days. I do that, but food, no, not with the food though.
That's okay though, because we are really here to talk about the music, and
that's right.
There's a dearth of news going on, but there is a plethora of music in the world, and we want to talk about it. So let's shift gears here a little bit and talk to the man, the myth, the legend, Tom Ameen. Right? So there he is. Let's hear it. Take a listen, folks.
Let's do that. Song, but now I want to talk to Tom about it because he's here.
Yeah.
The last thing he wants to do is listen to himself play music. He could be doing it.
You know, Rob said I could listen to that all day. I basically did listen to that all day today. I'm a music teacher, so I have music just playing in my classroom often when kids come in and stuff. And I had this playing today when my kids came in, just different ones and stuff. It's great music. To have on anytime, whether you're intently listening or else whether it's music in the background. It's just very interesting, and it's cool how you put your own spin on everything that I've heard you play. So, yes. Tom, if you could just talk a little bit about, first of all, just who you are, just tell us a little about who you are and kind of what your thing is. And we've got some questions we like to, but, Tom, tell us about yourself, my friend.
Well, I'm a pianist based in Los Angeles, originally from Cleveland, Ohio. So I know of the East.
Buckeyes, right? Buckeyes? Is that an Ohio thing? Yeah. Buckeyes?
Buckeyes is Ohio, yes.
Okay.
So I'm from there. But I've lived out here in California for a long time now. But basically a pianist. And what started all of this was I've done all my own albums and original music, and I write my own stuff as well. But I have always had a love of Star Wars music, of Disney music. Growing up, it was some of the first music I learned when I was playing piano. And of course, fell in love with Star Wars the movie in 1977. I was just a wee kid then. I was just a small boy. But we went and saw the movie and fell in love with it. And of course, John Williams' score. So basically, I just record a bunch of albums that I like to put my own spin on some of the music and see how it would sound like with solo piano, or maybe solo piano with some other instruments. But I like to toy around with the themes and see what I can come up with. And I thought that the Star Wars music sounds really good on piano. I think, well, John Williams writes amazing melodies. So I think those can work probably in all kinds of different genres, but I think they sound really good on the piano. So that's basically what I do. I just record some piano stuff that I like, and hopefully people will like it. Yeah, that's what I do.
I mean,
I love it.
It really is. It's a delight to listen to. Like I said, I listened a lot today, and you get so familiar with these songs. I mean, especially people like us, because it's all we do is talk about this and listen to this. And as a music teacher and a Star Wars nerd, all I do is drill into my kids' heads, John Williams, John Williams, John Williams. It's kind of a perfect job for me, right? I can just, listen to Star Wars music and, hey, this is work. Listen, right? But it's really interesting, you do manage to put some different spins on these things. Specifically, I'm thinking the one that pops out into my head is the waltz version of the Cantina Band.
I know, right?
Where do you get some of your inspiration for some of your take on some of this? Like, do you have certain composers or musicians that you draw inspiration from aside from John Williams? Obviously, John Williams, right?
Obviously, John Williams. He's probably my number one. But I do have other artists and other styles of music that I listen to. I do listen to a lot of orchestral music, so I think that has a lot of influence on, I guess, what I decide to do and trying to take the Cantina waltz or Cantina song and let's put it into a waltz kind of theme and see how that works. Instead of 4 beats in a measure, you do 3. And just a simple little twist like that, I think sometimes changes the whole piece.
Sure.
So I like to experiment with things like that. And I think John Williams does a great job even when he writes his themes, because when he writes a theme, it's used in various styles throughout the whole film.
Right.
Not even just Star Wars, other themes he's written. So I like to kind of do that as well. Oh my gosh, I love that cat.
Yeah. Here's Dexter, folks. Now here's one of the perks. That's Dexter. So all my animals are named after jazz musicians. Right, and so this is Dexter after Dexter Gordon. I've got another cat named Nora after Nora Jones.
How cool!
And my dog Lester is named after Lester Young.
That's so cool. Sorry, I just say I'm a huge cat lover. I had a cat for 22 years.
Well,
and he was my life.
This here, Billie Holiday. Right?
Oh, look at how cool that is.
I had a cat named Billy who passed away a couple years ago. So that's for her.
That's
right. So yeah, big cat lover, big animal lover.
Yeah, I'm a huge animal lover. But so anyway, I just had to acknowledge the cat.
Hey, buddy. Now, folks, if you're listening to us on a podcast anywhere, you don't get to see this sort of stuff. You got to check our live stream out on YouTube to get all the added perks of my cat Dexter here hanging out,
awesome.
Enjoying himself.
I thought at first you were going to say he's named after the TV show with Michael C. Hall.
Now that's what I get a lot.
That's a different one.
A lot of people wonder whether my cat's named after a psychopathic murderer, but no, right. Different Dexter.
Okay. But anyway, so I think to try to take these themes and rearrange them or do some kind of different thing with arrangement, I don't know whether word to use, but arrangement is just a really cool thing to do. And sometimes it works really well. Sometimes it doesn't work at all. You just have to experiment with it and see what you come up with.
Sure.
There was a question in the chats. Did you do Duel of the Fates? And sure enough, here it is. And it's amazing. It's so cool hearing how different it is from the original one.
Kind of Rachmaninoff right here.
Yeah. This is so cool.
I like what you did with this thing here. It's just this ostinato thing you're going. I mean, this is, I don't know, arguably or not, but I mean, Duel of the Fates has got to be almost unanimously
it's just one of the
best, most beloved Star Wars pieces.
Yeah. Well, with the piano, just a little, it's on the piano. I couldn't do the whole time. There's no way to, I wanted the left hand. I couldn't do that in left hand the whole time. It just wouldn't work.
Sure.
So that's why it's just but it's such a great piece. I mean, it's just one of his best pieces. I think it's just awesome.
But I think putting in that bump 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 bump, even if you did that without it, we know this piece enough that it's implied. So it's cool that you didn't do it. You know what I mean? Because it leaves that in our brains as the listener, like, oh, that's an interesting way to kind of incorporate that without actually incorporating it. So I think it's really great. It's funny that, I listen as I'm listening to a lot of these things, and I don't know what's going on in your mind any more than I know what's going on in my mind, right? But the word melancholy kept popping into my head a lot of times as I heard a lot of this. Does that resonate with you a lot at all?
It does. I'm kind of a melancholy guy, I guess. I do put a lot of that into my music.
Sure.
Especially if you listen to my original music. It has a lot of that feeling in it.
Yeah, Journey to the Stars, definitely, for sure.
That's the one original song I wrote.
Was that it, Rob? Let's hear it, man.
I was about to start it. Yeah, I didn't want to interrupt you, but go ahead. So here we go. This is your song, your Star Wars song.
I could just have this on all day. It's delightful.
Yeah,
it's really nice. It's really, again, that melancholy feel. Like it doesn't feel tragic. It doesn't feel sad, but there is like a certain thing about it that's just kind of, searching. But that's kind of space too, right? That's kind of space.
Yeah, it's just kind of like,
And it sounds like it could totally fit into any one of the movies. If you find like a nice part like this, that would totally fit in with a normal John Williams song, and you would be like, wouldn't know any different that it wasn't written by him and it was written by you instead.
Thank you. That's amazing. I did it with that kind of like, I wanted his style in that. So
yeah, for sure.
Me not being a musician, I hope what I'm about to say is not offensive, because I don't mean it offensively at all. Not at all. I used to videotape a lot of weddings and bar mitzvahs and stuff like that. I worked for a company where we did that. And during cocktail hour at the more elaborate places, there was always somebody either playing violin or playing piano softly during the cocktail hour. And all of your music sounds like it would be played during like a cocktail hour. Now, and like I said, I don't want it to be offensive. It's just so cool, because you're hanging out and you're just, hanging out with friends, drinking, and all of a sudden, and then you're like, wait, this is the Star Wars theme song, but it's different. And it's just so chill and just so relaxed. Like, it's just such a great vibe. That's what it is. It's like this awesome vibe that all your music has.
Thanks, I appreciate that. Well, I played out at a lot of events here in LA. Well, not from the past year with COVID, like that all has shut down. But I played piano for a bunch of places all over town. And I always would put in John Williams music, because I think it's fun for people to say, wait a minute, that's the Star Wars theme. Is there, playing at a restaurant? It's a lot of fun to do. And people recognize the music. I mean, they'll recognize basically a lot of famous movie themes, not just John Williams. People can recognize Back to the Future and all this other kind of stuff as well. But it's so fun to do that because it catches people's ear. Yeah. And I love to play it, so I enjoy it. It's a lot of fun.
So and go ahead, Rob.
I was just going to say, and it's awesome how it's like a different version of the song. You're not just playing it just the way John Williams wrote it, and you're playing it enough that I recognize it, but it's also different at the same time. And it's like, whoa, this guy's like super smart, because he took this song this way and now is playing it this way. I still recognize it, and it could even sound better now than it did before, and it's like,
thank you.
It's like, oh, this is so cool.
Thank you. Well, because I can't do what John Williams does. I mean, he's him. I can only do what I do, and like that's the only way I know how to do it, is to try to do my interpretations of that. Sure. So, but just truly inspiring.
So
music.
Let me ask you, why Disney and why Star Wars? Because I gotta say, when I was researching you, I Googled you, and most of the things that popped up was like, oh, you're people looking for Disney music or variations on this sort of stuff, and it's like, oh, you got to check out Tom Ameen's album here, because and people will always be like, this is exactly the sort of stuff I was looking for. So what is it about, and I use this a lot. I feel like when people come on and are guests, and I don't want them to think I'm like casting a label at them, because I call myself a nerd, right? But this nerd sort of, I guess Disney isn't really nerd stuff, but Star Wars is now, right? And Star Wars is de facto Disney, so let's call Disney nerd stuff too. So what is it about Star Wars? What is it about Disney? What draws you to that music in particular?
First of all, I think that the Disney music and Star Wars music is timeless. I just think it crosses generations. It crosses ages. People of all ages love the music. When I started taking piano, Disney music was some of the first music I learned. And I had a big book called the Disney Songbook. I think it was a really cool, it came out in, I'm going to age myself a bit, but it came out in like 1979. And it had all the old classics up to Pete's Dragon, because it was the most current movie at the Disney at the time. But it was a music that had like a foreword by Walt Disney, and then it had all these music, and it had like colored illustrations from the movies. Really cool book. And I remember just falling in love with it and wanting to learn all of these Disney songs in the book. And I just think they have a timeless appeal to people.
Yeah.
The melodies are beautifully written. The words are great. I think when people hear the music, it reminds them of the movie. It reminds them of the story, possibly memories, from seeing the movies or whatever. So I think I've always had an affinity for that music.
Sure.
Ever since I was a young age.
Yeah, It is an interesting thing about Disney in particular. Rob and I interact with young people all the time. And young people of today know the Disney movies of my time and of before. And people our age know a lot of the Disney movies of today, because a lot of them have kids and watch them. So it really, you're right. It is this timeless thing where, young or old, people do cherish Disney as a brand. It's odd as a brand, though. I have a hard time wrapping my mind around the brand Disney, because I do love Disney movies and I do love Disney music, but then I want to try and go to Disney World with my wife, and I can't afford it, and it just pisses me off, man.
It's too expensive. That's a whole other podcast to go into that.
Yeah.
I get it. Trust me, I get it. Because we're about 45 minutes away from Disneyland.
Right.
But Disneyland is just as expensive.
Sure.
And it's so small compared to Walt Disney World. But anyway, I think I was going to say something, but I think with the music and with the movies, I think it just has such an appeal to so many different generations, like I said before, that you can connect with it on different levels, I think.
Sure.
Yeah. And also what's great about the movies that they do is like they put so much stuff in there for adults. So if you're taking kids to see it, it's great for kids. There's all kinds of good stuff, but there's always so much stuff to grab onto for adults in these films. So I really like that.
That's excellent.
So I'm looking at your Magical Moments 2 album.
Okay.
And this is all the magic continues, because it's 2, so of course it continues. And I love this. This is a great one here, because it takes a couple of seconds to try and figure out what song it really is, which is cool, because you're like, and then there it is, and then you can hear the Tiki Room slower and different than the way it is when you go into the Tiki Room in Disneyland, and you're like, oh yeah, it's the Tiki Room, and like you said, it brings back memories. We went to Disneyland once.
Rob, lower the music a little bit. There
you go. I turned it off. We went to Disneyland once a couple years ago, and we went into Tiki Land, and there was a guy waiting to go into Tiki Land with us. We went in, we leave. He goes like run, and he's like our age. He goes like running around the building, and he's back in line again, waiting to go back into Tiki Room again. And I was like, oh my goodness! Like here's a person he just came the whole day just to keep going in the Tiki Room. Wow. Tiki Room over and over again, and so that hearing you play it reminded me of that, and I'm like, so there it is. It's like it just brings it all back, and like you said, it just Disney songs just do that to you.
It does, yeah. Especially if you've been on the ride. I mean, if you're a fan, if you've been to the parks, I mean, that will immediately bring that back to mind. Yeah, being in the Tiki Room, the show. So
there's a different class of Disney fan who goes to the parks. Like, I know Disney fans who like the movies, but Disney parks fans are really serious. Like, and like they know the rides, they plan for the rides, it's very, because I'm not a Disney parks person, because like I said, I can't afford to, being up in New Jersey. I've been, and I haven't been since high school, but I distinctly remember being a high school senior going, yeah, this really is the most magical place on earth. I love this place. I just can't afford to go there. But it is really interesting to see, the connections that the Disney parks fans make, because they are diehards for sure.
It's Die Hard. I love Epcot. I've been on many podcasts and saying that I love that park. It's my favorite park. I could just drop me in there. I could spend all day in there. It's a beautiful park, and I love how the different worlds you can learn about different cultures as you're going through the World Showcase. And now there's changes that's been happening there that have caused quite a stir. But like with the new, I've seen pictures of the new, the floats or whatever, and it just does not look good. Because it breaks the scenery, like the view.
The view is now divided up by these giant things.
Because if you go to the end of Future World or wherever, and you go out and stare at the lake, you can see the whole World Showcase. Used to be able to. That was one of my happy places. Like I call that one of my 100%. Happy places. It's beautiful. So, but I'm a huge Epcot fan. So of course that music, which I know if you've listened to some of my old albums, I do a lot of Epcot music.
Sure.
Yep.
On piano because I love the memories it brings, and I think a lot of people connect with that because they have special memories of Epcot as well, or the parks. So when you make memories in these parks, I think those stay with you your whole life.
Yes, 100%.
Now, I got to ask, I haven't been to Epcot since my senior year of high school, as I mentioned. They used to have these giant walls that you could get your picture taken, and they would laser etch your face into the wall. Have those come down?
They're gone.
Really?
I think that's the legacy. Those are gone. Yeah.
Okay, because there was a picture of me and my high school girlfriend on there. That's kind of nice that's
Oh, nice. Well,
that's great.
Didn't they put them somewhere though, or something? Like they moved them somewhere else, I think.
Yeah, right. According to our friends over at Ears Up, that Jeremy did say that they are either they have moved them or they're moving them somewhere else. So next time I go to Disney, I'm gonna find.
You're gonna look for me. I don't even know where. I don't know where you're gonna find it. I don't. I just remember I'm up there somewhere.
You're up there somewhere. So
that's awesome.
Oh man.
That's awesome. Now the treasure.
The hunt is on.
That's the hunt is on. Yeah.
Oh boy. Now you say, Tom, on your website, you do mention that you are a reading and a video game junkie. Tell a little more about that. What are you reading and playing right now?
I do love to read. Well, right now, I have to tell you, I've now discovered Animal Crossing, and it's like completely addicting. I got a Nintendo Switch for my birthday last September, and then as a gift to myself for Christmas, I bought Animal Crossing. It is so addicting. I love Animal Crossing. I love Mario Kart. I do also play hardcore. I'm a big Call of Duty fan, so I do a lot of hardcore Call of Duty and Halo. But I just do that just to relax. Like, and I know it sounds weird, but it's just it relaxes me just to play. Play with friends.
Killing people is
that's what I do.
I
play Apex Legends every night, man. I'm
okay. All right, so you know.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, it's just a it's total fantasy to me. I mean, it's just
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But so I like that. But I would love for Disney to do like a Disney Animal Crossing. So the animals that live your island would be characters from like Star Wars. And you could have Darth Vader and Luke, like all these different characters on your island.
I dig
and
that.
Build things. I think that would be so cool.
Now, did you ever play Kingdom Hearts?
I tried only once on my iPad, like not the real one on Xbox. It was fun. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah,
but
I played like the original Kingdom Hearts games. If you never played any of the Kingdom Hearts games, those are for Disney fans. It's like if you're into like old school Japanese RPGs. And you love Disney. It is that altogether. Like it is a really interesting and weird concept that works.
That's cool. That's cool.
But yeah, Dexter approves too. Hey, right?
Dexter approves.
He's just hanging out here, man.
But Animal Crossing, it's just that's another game. I think Animal Crossing to me is like the video game for people that don't play video games.
Oh sure.
It's just the coolest. Building your own island. Everything's friendly. It's positive. It's uplifting. You get these animals that interact with you and. It's just a cool game.
Yeah, my wife, I once tried to get her to learn how to play video games. It took her 20 minutes to learn how to climb a wall in Assassin's Creed. But when the lockdowns for COVID started, she got into Animal Crossing, and she did not put that thing down.
I'm telling you, I understand. I get it.
Absolutely.
I get it.
Oh man,
I was hoping they had The Sims had an expansion pack a while back.
Oh, that's right. We talked. Who do we have on about that? That was a great little segment.
Dan.
That's right.
Dan from the Supreme Resort.
Supreme Tacos.
Yeah. But they had a Star Wars Galaxy's Edge expansion pack.
Oh, cool.
So it was neat, except for the fact that like it was completely different than regular Sims. So if you liked regular Sims, this expansion pack was nothing like it. It was like you could take your sim into it, but then you had to do all these just like quest things instead, almost like an Animal Crossing type game.
Okay.
But it was like it would have been cool if it was a standalone game, or if they added that into like Animal Crossing, like you were saying. But they tried to put it into the Sims instead, and it just wasn't a Sims type of game.
So, Rob,
I used to play when in the '90s. I had a PlayStation 2. Was it? They had a really cool Star Wars game where it was like Mortal Kombat, but it was all Star Wars characters. And you got to be Luke Skywalker or Yoda, Princess Leia, Darth Vader, and they each had different skills.
What?
Like Mortal Kombat. I always got Luke. Like I tried to make him my highest character because of the lightsaber. But you did all these different motions and moves. It was really cool. It was all Star Wars, and all of the lands were like Tatooine and on the Death Star, and you were fighting in all these different places. I'm gonna
have to do a little research on that because I feel like I need to play that. That sounds great.
I loved it. And of
Mortal
course, it had the
Kombat with
music.
Star Wars, that's what I want to see. That's a world.
But it was like all Star Wars characters. It was so cool. I love that.
That is cool. That is awesome.
I will say we would be remiss if we did not mention that, Tom, don't you have an album coming out pretty soon?
Yes.
I do actually, and this one's a little different now.
Let's talk
a Disney album.
Let's talk about
it. It's a Disney album. I'm very excited about this one. It's a new Disney album. I recorded 14 songs, and it's called Magical Meditations.
All right.
And I've never done this before. It comes out Friday the 23rd.
Friday the 23rd. We are recording this on the 22nd, right? So if you're listening to it live, comes out tomorrow, right? But if you're listening to us on your podcast sometime this weekend, or you got to check it out. Where will they be able to find it?
They can go to my website, which is tomameenmusic.com. And I'll have a link on the very front page where they click on it, and then it has all the different, like Spotify and Apple Music.
Sure.
So they can go there, or they could probably just search it. I think if you Google search Tom Ameen Magical Moments, it should come up.
Sure.
But the website for sure. But it's an album meant to relax to. So I made it for me, I could sit back with headphones and lay on the couch and listen for an hour and go to sleep.
Sure.
Like that's what I made it for. It's good. So it's all really slow music, very little piano movement. And I use what they call the felt piano, which sometimes when you have... in a piano, you can put a piece of felt between the hammers and the strings. So it makes the piano really soft. And you can actually hear the hammer hitting the felt. So it's a different kind of sound. But I really, really like how it turned out. So I took 14 of songs that I really loved, made them all slow, and made them just real relaxing. So you could use it for studying or meditating or sleeping. Or in the background.
These are Disney specific songs?
These are all Disney songs, yeah. There's 14 of them.
Are they new? Are they old? Do they range?
It's a mix.
Okay.
So it's I picked the ones that I thought would work in this kind of style. So you have stuff from Little Mermaid, Lion King, the Circle of Life starts out in the album, but then I have my favorite Disney movie, Freaky Friday. So I have the theme to the original from 1977.
Friday. All right, rock on.
Nice.
I'd Like to Be You for a Day. That's on there. There's like Candle on the Water from Pete's Dragon. So there's a bunch of different ones on there.
So right. I did ask Tom. He did send us a sneak peek of a couple of his songs. So let's listen to. First, we're going to listen to "Make a Man Out of Me."
Oh, this one I love. Just play it. It's just gorgeous.
This is awesome.
Effects of that felt, the dampening effects. That's really nice.
Yeah.
I'm a big Ben Folds fan, so I know that Ben Folds used to, put thumbtacks in his hammers to get the opposite effect, right? So I'd never heard of the opposite, that felt, and that's really nice. And you were talking earlier about the piano's ability to do things, and it is amazing. Just like, you start with just this one note melody, and then just adding one note, these simple, 2-note sort of intervals, and then you add that third note to these chords, and I really like how it just starts simple and it just gets a little more complex as it goes, but it never gets too complex, and that's great.
No.
Right?
Yeah, because you don't want the listener to, it's just meant to relax people. Like, that's really what it's meant. So that's why I took the piano arrangements way down and did a lot less movement than what I would normally do.
Yeah.
And there's some instruments add, like certain songs have like a little flute line in them. I put some oboes and certain, so there's other instruments lightly orchestrated throughout the album, but it's mainly just that piano sound is what you hear.
Sure.
Yeah. Can I tell you, I started playing it today in my class. My kids were getting a little loud and rambunctious, and then I just turned that exact song on, and I turned my volume all the way up, and I didn't say a word, and I just let it keep playing, and I wanted to see what happened. And sure enough, all the kids went from they just got real quiet. They all just sat there. They all went right back to work, and they were just like. Yeah, like there was like totally what you said you wanted to do is just to sit back and just relax. It totally did that to my class. So you were very successful in completing your. So there you go.
But it comes back to that interesting thing the piano can do, because a piano can be a full orchestra, right? You can put down every freaking finger, and it's like so full and rich and deep and beautiful. But when you put these kind of spaced out chords together, it's just this really nice, almost cerebral kind of sound. And again, it does have that melancholy that we mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
That it almost feels like it's searching for something. That's when
the whole album sounds like that. And especially wait till you hear It's a Small World. Because you will think, no one's going to think, I can't relax to It's a Small World. Because it's the most annoying song ever written. It's like, once it's an earworm, once it gets stuck in your head, can't get it out. I mean, I like the song. You either love that song or you hate it. There's just two, that's it. But wait till you hear it with this treatment. I love it. I'm so pleased with how it turned out.
Well, I'm glad I asked you to send me that then. So here it is.
It almost has a music box quality to it.
Yeah, it does sound like a music box.
I really like the effect of that felt, man. I've never heard that felt treatment on the piano, and it's really, it does do something to just the color of the sound. That's really cool.
Yeah, makes it so different.
Yeah.
So different.
I love how you added the extra notes in between the small world notes, and it was like, it's a small world, and then you're like, after all, like, if I were to go on It's a Small World ride more than once in a row, you want to just jump out of the boat and rip the little characters' heads off. But I could listen to this over and over again. It's so much, like you said, so much more smoothing.
I wanted it to be really soothing and have people like, oh my gosh, wait, that It's a Small World. Oh my gosh, I didn't know it could sound like this.
And people are like, I hate that song, but I love this version. So
I think the Sherman Brothers originally wrote it to be slow. I think that's what they originally wrote it to be, like a ballad, like not so fast. And I believe they sped it up for It's a Small World ride. But I remember reading they wrote it at first to be slower.
Awesome. Well, you definitely slowed it down, and it sounds so much cooler that way.
Now we know the secret sauce, right? Just play it on piano, slow it down, take out some of the meatier parts of the harmony, and just let it roll.
Let it breathe.
That's right.
Exactly.
Well, it's great. It's coming out tomorrow, right? So you'll be able to get it on Spotify, Apple Music. I always check Spotify. That's where I go to first of all, right? But
wait, before we leave this album,
do we have another one?
I have one more.
Let's hear it.
Because it was awesome. And when I emailed you about it, I told Tom that I thought this was great, the placement of the song as well. And this goes back to the original Mickey Mouse Club also. But then in the 90s, they had a remake of the Mickey Mouse Club, which had, Justin Timberlake and Britney Spears and Christina Aguilera. But I remember I was telling Nick about it this morning, and I was saying I loved the show. I was in high school at the time and probably too old for it, I guess you could say, whatever, but I loved it. And I said, I knew I wasn't musically talented enough to be any of the singers or dancers or anything, but I could be that old guy, the guy that was, I think his name was Fred. He was like the adult. I was like, I want that job. I want to be that guy.
Rob thought that I was so young I wouldn't know the Mickey Mouse Club. Like, I'm not that young, man. I know I don't have any grays yet, but, you know, I actually do. I've got one right here. His name is Clancy.
Oh. There you go. It's all downhill from there.
That's
So
right.
here's your version, which was the last song on the album, which is how the Mickey Mouse Clubhouse always ended with this song. So here's your version of it, and I think it's so cool the way you did it as well.
It's almost got like a vibraphone quality to it with that fill.
I love the pause. That's where I fall asleep.
Do you play any jazz music, Tom?
I don't play real jazz music.
That's
Put it that
okay.
way. I play
I don't
big
either.
band.
Real jazz musicians probably look at me and go, whatever. But go ahead.
I don't think so. Ladies and gentlemen, I checked out Nick's music yesterday on it. You are like an amazing musician,
Thanks,
like
buddy. I appreciate
unbelievable, amazing. But I basically just play like big band music,
Sure.
like light jazz. I'm not a true jazz player. I don't have the mindset for that.
But
I wish I did.
I was just
but I
listening to
don't.
your bass line there. I just really liked the voice leading you had going on. With, you know, a lot of those lines just really worked.
Just different, right? Like just
Yeah.
put different chords in it, try different progressions, and see how it turns out. Yeah.
That was nice, man. Oh, well, you can check
Thank
it out
you.
on Spotify tomorrow. What's the name of the album again?
It's called Magical Meditations.
Magical Meditations by Tom Ameen. Man, it's been really great having you on here. You know,
I have one last question for you.
Go for it, Rob.
We don't want to keep you too long. We've had you here for 45
fine.
minutes.
This is great.
good.
I'm having a good time.
As long as you're having a good time. It's because of the BanthaMilk
That's
beforehand.
right.
It really,
It's all it
really
takes.
you didn't realize that you were talking to two idiots. And you're like, oh, I'm having a great time. Your Star Wars album is Journey to the Stars, and then you have a whole bunch, like you said, other Disney Magical Moments 2. Dreams Come True is another one of your Disney albums. Here's my request as a non-musician.
Okay.
Can we have, even doesn't have to be a whole album, maybe just one song, an angry Tom Ameen, where you're just like pounding on the keyboard, you know, like
that would be fun to do.
Complete flip and role reversal of yourself.
I'd
You're
love
just
it.
like,
You've got to have some anxieties to get out, man. You play music that's too calm. There's got to be some angst in there somewhere.
I do a lot of banging, like especially when I was younger. Like a
Yeah.
lot of heavy playing. It's fun to do.
Sure.
Yeah. Maybe I'm just, as I'm getting older, I'm mellowing out a bit. Maybe that's what it is.
No.
But I do original music as well, and on those albums, there's a little more variety of orchestrations and different speeds of songs and different. I just did an album called Stories from the Sea, which came out in February, which is some of my I love the. I mean, I think it's my favorite. Not favorite, it was some of the best work I've ever done. And I was inspired by a book by Ian Urbina called The Outlaw Ocean. So it was a best-selling New York book about all these insane things that are happening on the ocean that you would not even believe. But I did base the songs on chapters in the book. So that has a little more variety of, it's just not piano, it's got orchestrations and stuff like that. But I love the Disney music. It's just fun to be able to strip it all down mostly and just do piano. Make it real, like accessible, I think.
Sure.
I don't know. There's something really pretty, I think, about the Disney music on the piano that I really like.
Sure.
So
and you don't sit tight, right? I mean, I tried to count. You've got what, 15 albums out, maybe 16 as of tomorrow.
I don't know.
You didn't keep count, man. I can tell you how many albums I have out. It's a very easy number to make, man. 15 out. Like I counted on Spotify, and then you've got another EP, and you've got a single out there. I mean, you're putting out music a lot, and it dates back a long time. You've been putting out music for a while.
A long time. I was in I think my first album I did, I was 27, or it was 1997 is when it came out.
Okay.
Like my first one I did back when I lived in Cleveland still.
Nice.
So I did that. It was fun. It was fun to do. It's very dated. I mean, it sounds very 90s. It's called Treasure the Gift. If you ever check out the keyboard sounds, it's all very 90s. But it's fun.
There's a cycle in America, man. One day that 90s sound's going to be back, and you're going to be
Gonna come
right on
back.
top.
Right,
It will.
exactly.
It sure will.
Exactly.
Oh, man.
So I do want to steal a little bit of one story that you must have told or were going to tell on another podcast. We were checking out your social medias. So why don't you hit us up? Tell us all your social medias real fast for the listeners and the people in the chat.
Okay, I'm basically, Facebook is just Tom Ameen. I think that's how you search on Facebook. I'm on Instagram as Tom Ameen Music. And then I'm Twitter as Tom Ameen. So it's just my name, basically. Those are the three that I use the most.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's where you could find me.
So you were going to tell a story on another podcast about somebody famous that you played for, which is Star Wars related.
Yes.
So you don't have to go into the whole thing, but just name drop. Just drop that name and just tell us what it was like, as long or as short as you want to. I'm in awe. So go for it.
Basically, it's just one of the best nights I've ever had in LA. I mean, just gigging out for all these years, all these places. I got hired to play at J.J. Abrams' house for one of his private parties, not knowing it was his house when I got there. I was just hired by a company to do it. I said, yeah, and they're like, we want to have a new piano player. The other guy, the client doesn't like that much. We're just going to bring someone new in. I can't remember how they heard of me, but I was like, sure, whatever. So I went there, started warming up on the piano that night. It was a beautiful house, not overdone, just a really nice house. And I see him walk in it was during the holidays. So there's a Christmas tree and something else in the living room. And I see him come up and put a gift under the tree. And I'm like, oh my God, that's J.J. Abrams. And I was a huge fan of the time because I was a huge Lost fan.
Sure.
Okay.
That's how I knew him. And I was like, oh my God. And so the guy that hired me came up to me. He's like, I just want to let you know this is J.J. Abrams' house. I said, I thought that was him. And he goes, he thinks you're fantastic. I said, no way. He's like, yeah. I said, should I play the Lost theme or is that dumb? He's like, no, do it. He'll love it. I play the Lost theme and he comes in and he's like, I have to tell Michael you played his theme. I think Michael Giacchino is like another amazing composer.
Yeah,
I was like,
absolutely.
It was just the coolest night. They were the friendliest people. Him and his wife, Katie, were very warm. And when you play at gigs a lot of times, they'll feed you, which is great, but they'll just have you sit in the kitchen or in a corner and it's totally fine. Like, as long as I'm fed, I don't really care.
Sure.
I'll take like a 15-minute break. They were of the mindset, like, they came up to me about an hour after I was playing. They're like, we're all taking a break. We're getting ready to eat. We want you to take a break and come get a plate and come join us. That's how they were.
No way. That's so cool.
Yeah, they were really, really cool people. So then they ended up hiring me a few more times. I played like at their house on Christmas Eve, which was so fun. And
That's
like
so awesome.
Jennifer Garner came in. I was a huge Alias fan.
Sure.
And I was like, it was just wild because I'm from Cleveland, Ohio. You know what I mean? Like, this does not happen.
Yeah.
in Ohio.
Yeah.
I'd
But
imagine
they
in
were just-
LA, if you're around LA for long enough, it just becomes like,
happens.
JJ was in last week, but in Cinnaminson, New Jersey, it doesn't happen as often for sure.
Yeah, I don't like to name drop that. I mean, I'm not that kind of person, but it was just it was one of the best nights I ever had. They were very warm, very inviting, just cool people. Just really cool. It was a great evening. I had played the Lost theme, and then they were doing like a gift giveaway with a guessing game, and I would play like the Jeopardy theme. They were
Great.
it was like a real festive, friendly experience. It was really cool. It was
That's
it was one of my happiest memories. Yeah, it was really cool.
And I got to tell you, as a gigging musician myself, they don't have to treat the musicians like that.
No, and a lot of times they don't.
No,
right?
I
They don't.
have been to places where I have very much felt like the help. You know what
The
I
help.
mean? And I have also been to places where they welcome you like you're part of the family. And
Like your family.
It is definitely cool to know that JJ is the latter of that.
And I think he loves music. That's why I think he has appreciation for musicians. Because I remember even on his piano bench, there was handwritten music and stuff. They really love music.
Sure.
So he knows what that. Yeah.
Two things. One, Sam in our chat said, "As long as I'm fed, I don't really care," is my new motto.
That's great.
It's the best, right?
That's great.
Yeah. And on top of that, you guys were at least the musicians. I was just the videographer. So I was below the musicians.
You're like the tier below us. Is that what it is?
Yes. So, like, they made sure when at weddings and bar mitzvahs, they made sure the band got fed. They were like, "Oh, by the way, how come you're not in there eating? The band's in there eating." So you go in. No, you go in, and the band has already housed whatever food is there. This peanut butter and jelly sandwiches and whatever.
You gotta understand how musicians roll. All right. When we are told we're being fed, we're being fed.
Yes,
exactly.
Yeah. So I'm
that
had
guy at
times.
every wedding I play where me and the meat carving guy are like, you and me are becoming friends tonight, man.
That's awesome.
So I made sure as the videographer during cocktail hour, I would always make sure I was videoing in the kids' room because there was always like a kids' room, which was separate. Like for bar mitzvahs, they would always have like a kids' room, which was separate. The kids' room had the pigs in the blanket and the mozzarella sticks and all the good things.
The good stuff, yeah.
Yeah, I made sure I went in there 2 or 3 times as I'm videotaping, popping some hot dogs in my mouth. Yeah, because I'm like, I don't know if I'm going to get fed later on. The band's going to eat all 6 sandwiches that they have for 10 people, and I'm not getting any of them. So
we don't milk it. If we are handed food, we take that food, and then
that's
right. Seconds. It's just a musician will come out for money. You pay money, they will come out. If they don't pay money, but there's food, they might come out.
They might come out for food.
They might still come out if there's food. They might not, but they might come out, right?
So true. And then you've been to some gigs that are like the food is amazing. Like I've been to it's like some of it's like okay, but some of it is like amazing.
Yeah, I played in a wedding band in Baton Rouge, Louisiana.
I bet the food down there was like insane.
Yeah, wedding food in Louisiana is no joke. You get meat pies, you get king cakes, you get jambalaya, you get it's really
I'm sure
it's choice for sure. Oh man, it's been such a good time having you on, Tom. Tom Ameen, pianist, composer, arranger. Please check out his new album coming out tomorrow. That is April 23rd, right? So if you're listening to us after that, it is already available. You can check him out. Remind us where they can check you out online, Tom.
TomAmeenmusic.com. All the links will be there. Or they can go to like Facebook or Instagram, Tom Ameen Music. It's all there.
Rock on.
It'll all be there.
Awesome.
It's a beautiful thing.
Well, thank you so much, Tom. This was a lot of fun. This was a great thing for us to do when there's no Mandalorian stuff to talk about. We talk to other Star Wars fans.
Don't you feel like, I know we have to leave, but I feel like The Mandalorian really brought back the magic of Star Wars in a way that hasn't been in a long time. In a while, I would say.
Yeah.
100%. Yes.
Because the movies have, and I don't care about having to go because we're talking Star Wars. We can keep talking as long as we want.
Yeah.
The movies are fine, but I really do. And I've been watching WandaVision. I've been watching Falcon and the Winter Soldier as well. There is something about this format, this season long 9 or 10 episode arc that works well for this particular genre, whether it be comic book movies, whether it be sci-fi. I don't want to wait for a 2-hour movie once every 2 years when I can have 6 hours of a series every year, and we can really get into the important stuff, the nitty-gritty.
And they're so well produced. I mean, the visual effects, the music. I mean, they're really top notch.
Yeah.
Really well done.
I'm hoping we get, because over here I've got the Harry Potter aspect here. I would love for them to take this Mandalorian and to take this the Falcon and Soldier, and I would love a season for every book, every Harry Potter book. Just give me 10 episodes. You know what I mean? Really get into the stuff that they get into the book, really get into the I think that would be amazing. This is how I want comic books, stuff like that. I would love to see more of this format going forward for sure.
I agree. It's awesome. It's awesome.
Yep.
So what did you, since you brought it up, we're going to keep you here as long as we possibly can now.
Pour another glass of BanthaMilk. Here we go.
Yeah, pour some more BanthaMilk. Get some more. So what did you think of The Mandalorian then, since you did watch it?
I loved it. The moment I saw Baby Yoda, I was hooked like everyone else. I was hooked. I was like, whoever thought of this is brilliant.
Yes.
to do a Baby Yoda that would have this much. I mean, it was just brilliant. The characters were great. The Mandalorian himself was great. I thought the stories were great. The ending of the second season was my childhood to see Luke Skywalker
Yes.
come in.
I mean,
and like,
yes.
I mean, I was crying. I was like, this was my childhood. Like, it was so well done, I thought. I just loved it.
Yep.
And I don't know, with Baby Yoda, it's just magic. Every scene he's in is magic. And there's rumors, like, are they not going to be in the third season? Is it going to be a different arc? Like, what's going to happen now that he's with Luke Skywalker?
That's tough, because they need to, from now on out, if they decide, you know, Grogu's on his own, he's doing his thing with Luke, they got to try and float somehow without Baby Yoda. And we've talked several times on this podcast how The Mandalorian did great because it was a great show, but Baby Yoda helped. Like, that is
a lot.
Star Wars has always been about capturing that merchandising magic, and they captured it here, you know?
They so did. I know. Look at that. There's Baby
right
Yoda
behind Rob, right there. I've got a
it.
portrait of Baby Yoda hanging in my Star Wars room, and yes, I have a Star Wars room right behind this wall.
Oh, that would be cool to see.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
so
nice.
One of these days I'll post the picture. My wife made it. My wife has been on the podcast a couple times. She can't sit still, so she always has projects going on. So yeah, she made a Star Wars room for us next door. This is what happens when you're dual income, no kids. You spend your money on stupid Star Wars stuff.
There you go.
That's how
it's
goes.
Okay.
Oh, man. But yeah, we are going to wrap it here. Tom, it has been such a great time having you. Please check out his new album. Check out all of his previous albums as well. There's a whole lot of discography for you to catch. Tom Ameen, check him out at his website. Thank you for being here, Tom.
Thank you guys so much, and for everyone that's listening. It was great. It was great to be here. Thank you.
Yes,
thank
indeed.
you. Yes, thank you very, very much.
All right, well, stick around,
awesome.
Tom, for just a second afterwards. But everyone else over out on YouTube, Rob, it's been a great time. We've got May 4th coming up, right? Check out our May 4th show. We're going to be talking about The Bad Batch, which should be a very exciting new Star Wars show. Bring your BanthaMilk, and we'll be ready for it.
Yes.
All right, Gal.
So,
from all of us here and there, Los New Jersey.
All the way from New Jersey to Los Angeles.
Yes, indeed. BanthaMilk headquarters.
Garden State. Yes, all the way out there. It's amazing.
We have all spoken.
We have spoken.